No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way.
He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend.
Talking on it though, then
He
you
a
can't bring it up later.
Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items.
Hello. How's it going? We're going to look at some AP mana mythic items. You probably know the deal by now. I'm going to put on some music, and we're going to talk about some items. So now we have Liandry'S Anguish, which is replacing Liandry's Torment, Luden'S Tempest, which is replacing Luden's Echo, and Everfrost, which I guess is kind of replacing the Sprinkler item. So all three of these items are 3,400 gold, and I think that's where a lot of the similarities end. But let's go through the base stats. So they all cost 3,400 gold. They're all above 90% base efficiency, which is pretty good. We want them to be as close to 100 as possible, because then we can look at this plus-minus number, and this is all we need to overcome in order to justify, in order to get to the break-even point, which is pretty important in general. So first up, Liandry'S Anguish. 80 ability power, 600 mana, 25 ability haste, no more health. Torment. Your spells cause enemies to burn for 60 plus 4% of target's maximum health magic damage over 4 seconds, so 1 health per second, 1% health per second, shredding their magic resist by 5% per second for 4 seconds, up to 25%. So that's very cool. It is a pretty unique item in that sense. We don't really have an AD equivalent of that, right? Like, we have the armor shred, but we don't have it as a part of a dot, which is pretty cool. So it's like you do a little bit of damage, it brings down their resistances, and then you can continuously like renew the dot. So like, I'm a Zyra main. This is great for me. Very happy. And we get ability haste. So if you look here, this is the scaling portion of Liandry'S Anguish, and that is a good amount of CDR. So you'll, like, I don't know if they're removing the CDR cap and like doing some other things. I'm pretty sure I heard that in the past, and there's like diminishing returns on ability haste. I don't know much else about that at this point. I don't think they've given out that all of that information. So basically, this is roughly what that number is going to look like. So let's go to Luden's Tempest. 80 ability power, 10 magic penetration, 600 mana, 10 ability haste, and Echo. So it's the same Echo as before, 100 magic damage to the target and 3 nearby enemies, and grants you a movement speed burst. Pretty good. 5 magic pen for every other legendary item. So really, you're probably going to have like a mythic item, 4 legendary items, and your boots for the most part. So we'll get up to 622 extra gold from that. But any bonus magic pen is a good thing. Because like you can probably justify buying this item with Echo alone, and then you have Echo plus the additional magic pen. So good item. Will probably just come down to stylistically what you want, you know. And then last up, we have Everfrost. So Everfrost is 80 ability power, 200 health, 600 mana, and 10 ability haste. Then you have the active, Frigid Blast, deal 100 magic damage, so the same as Luden's Tempest, in a cone, slowing enemies by 65% for 1.5 seconds. Enemies at the center of the cone are rooted instead for 45 seconds. That's very, very, very good. Like, if you just think about how impactful the Hextech item was, and then imagine that rooting sometimes, and it deals just as much damage as Luden's, that's a lot of utility coming out of this item. And then the Mythic passive is one of the best Mythic passives in the game. 15 AP for every other legendary item that you have. So starts off with 326. 326 times 4 is 1,300. So just by having this as a piece of your full build, you're getting an additional 1,300 golds worth of ability power, which is very good. Now, some champions will prefer to have magic penetration or additional ability additional ability haste instead of the health, but health's a good item overall. I think that a lot of people don't fully appreciate how good health is. And I know that Freak made a video or discussed it in one of his videos about how in the early levels, this might have been on a cast for LCS, on a lot of champions in the early game, health is actually better than flat resistances. So this is going to be a first item purchase on some players, on some champions as well. These are pretty these are not controversial items. Like, people are just going to plug and play these into their builds right now. Like, you lose a little bit of damage from Luden's Tempest. Everybody likes the percent health of Liandry's, so I think Liandry's probably has the highest damage upside, the highest consistent damage upside, which is very good for a Zyra player like myself. But there's not much else to go into on these items. Like, they're just very good, and most champions can take advantage of them. So I didn't really plan on this being the shortest one of them all, but there's not really anything else to say. And I'm not going to waste your time. So thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the other Mythic item videos, and I'll talk to you later.